Hey Wemberg World Entertainment, and how do you go about making your franchise not look, feel, or sound anything like that franchise? Well, you do what the Andor Season 2 teaser trailer did, which is, let's put a generic rock song in it instead of actual Star Wars music. Yes, you heard that right. They actually went ahead and put a rock song in the trailer from start to finish. Think Section 31, the trailer for the Star Trek series. Well, movie. Where when people looked at it, they went, oh, unless that thing said at the very end, Star Trek Section 31, you would not think it was Star Trek because it didn't look, feel, and it sure as hell didn't sound like Star Trek. Well, the Andor Season 2 trailer is that very same style of trailer. Doesn't look, feel, and sure as hell doesn't sound like Star Wars. And you're going to see what I mean because we are about to take a look at this trailer and its new poster, which we will look at later, which is incredibly bland. But here is your first look at Season 2 of Andor.
We're in a war. You want to fight? Or you want to win? Last night a dream that the world had turned. All our hopes had come to be. The revolution starts now.
What a swell party this is.
Remember this moment. You're here, you're right here, and you're ready to fight.
Alright, there's your trailer for Season 2, and now you see exactly what I mean. It's like, why, in the name of all that's holy, would you choose to do that type of music for a Star Wars trailer? It immediately removes you from the world of Star Wars. It really does. It's like, oh, this could be just any generic action movie of some sort. And it's a weird choice for them to do. Now, obviously, you get little elements of Star Wars, like, oh look, it's a stormtrooper and the Death Star and a couple of ships, but other than that, like, there's nothing that says Star Wars. All this trailer really is shooty shooty bang bang, because that's all they seem to know how to try and get people excited. And it's probably them trying to say, oh, we heard your complaints about the first season being very slow, so look at all the action. They did the same thing with the first season trailer. It was all shooty shooty bang bang stuff. Now, in terms of the look, and like the style and the stuff like that, yeah, it looks good. So did the first season. In terms of like the worlds look lived in, it looks like actual sets, you know, real world locations rather than volume. Now, obviously, there was bits of volume used in the first season, and once it was, you could just tell. It just stood out like a sore thumb. It really did. But the worlds and stuff looked living. It looked dirty, grimy, all that type of stuff, like a real world would, you know, rather than something like, say, Ahsoka, where everything was just super clean and pristine, and it was just like, yeah, no. Whereas this doesn't look like that. So that's the one thing I do give them credit on with the Andor series. The performances in the first season were good as well. You know, it was like really good acting from everyone. There was one or two people that were a bit you'd roll your eyes at. But the performances were good. Is it Stellan? I think his name is Stellan Skarsgård. He was the standout in the first season. Like, every scene he was in, he was fantastic in. The biggest issue with Andor season 1, and I did review it, was that it was just so slow and boring. It really was. It wasn't a good story. The character of Andor is not interesting. You know, he wasn't a particularly likable character in Rogue One. And that continues in this show. It's like, yeah, we still don't care about him. And it's not like, oh, how's he going to get out of this situation? Because we know he's going to get out of these situations, because we know what his fate is. And that is an issue as well, is, hey, we're going to do not 1 but 2 seasons of a show of a character who's dead. It's like, why? What's the point? Now, the first season was set 5 years before Rogue One. I don't know how much time has passed between seasons 1 and 2. And by the end of season 1, when he escapes from the prison, you realise they were making something. And of course everybody went, obviously it's something to do with the Death Star. And sure enough, the post-credit scene on the very last episode was, you saw these little droid things dropping those pieces of equipment they were making in the prison into the Death Star, into like parts of the main weapon in the Death Star. And of course we see that in this trailer. We see Krennic is back for some reason, and we see him overlooking the Death Star, and we see it without the main weapon inside it. And of course, is it Saw Gerrera? Is that the character's name? I can't remember. Forrest Whitaker, who, like, his performance in Rogue One was so ridiculous. And then he just like, I'm just gonna stand here and die. It's like, why? Like, you could escape it though. And he's like, nah, I'll just stay here and die. It was like, okay, that's weird. And yeah, look, the trailer, it's not terrible by any stretch of the means. It's just the fact that I know what the first season was. I know I don't care less about this character. And this season will just be the same. It's just going to be this slogfest. You can already tell that it's going to be a slogfest. The problem you have as well is it's one of the best reviewed Star Wars shows, but nobody watched it. You know, that's kind of where Star Wars is now. It's like, oh, the brand damage has been so much that even the stuff that comes out that people actually who watch it go, it's actually okay, it's pretty decent, they're not convincing anyone to tune in and watch it. And again, when you're trying to convince people, hey, watch a show about dead characters, it's like, I don't know why. The one cringy part of this trailer, like proper cringy part, other than the music, of course, is very reminiscent of the Marvels, is, oh look, it's a big dancing scene. It's like, why is something like that in there? I don't know. Overall, I've no idea what the story is meant to be this time around. I'm assuming this season ends pretty much starting off or picking up where we find Andor at the beginning of Rogue One. The thing, I don't know how many episodes there is in this season. Now, people keep saying first season had 10 episodes. It didn't. It had 9 episodes. And the reason I remember it distinctly having 9 episodes is because the story, there was like story elements, and they were broken up into 3 stories, or 3 episodes each. So the first season, the first 3 episodes were Andor on this planet and him trying to get off the planet. That was the first 3 episodes. The next 3 episodes were the heist, like the bank robbery, where he was going to rob the Imperial vault. That was the next 3 episodes. And then the final 3 episodes were him in the prison and trying to get out of the prison. And that's where it ended. So I'm assuming this is the same. I have a feeling I heard them say that this was actually going to have fewer episodes, but I'm not sure. It's possibly still the 9 episodes, and they're probably going to do the same thing where the first 3 are one story, then the next 3 are another story, and the last 3 the final part of the story. And we know this is the last season, that they're not doing another season. They shouldn't have even done a second season, to be honest with you, but they did. So overall, again, the trailer, the world and stuff, it looks lived in, it looks decent in that sense, you know, like the sets and whatnot look good. The effects that we see in the trailer look good, which is saying something when we know Disney's track record as of late with special effects. I'm sure once volume pops up in some scenes in this, it'll be like, oh god, and it'll stick out like a sore thumb. But overall, the look of it looks fine. The dance scene is cringy as hell. I don't understand the music, and it's just too desperate to try and convince people, oh, we're not just kind of a slow moving story this time, look at all the pew pew. And it's just like, really? That's what you have to go on? There's no real indication of what the story is this time around either, so I'll probably check it out. I don't know. I'm really so fed up with watching Star Wars because it's all garbage as of late, including the first season of Andor. But there's the trailer, and now we get the poster as well, which you've been seeing for a little bit now, which it just has this brown hue on it, and it's like, well, that's it. That's your first poster for this thing. It's like, it's not exactly riveting, is it? And then you go, what are all those lines? And you realize, oh look, they're the windows and lights from the Death Star, because oh look, the Death Star is actually a part of them in the image. It's like, yippee. It's like the most boring nothing poster. Unless you're really looking deep at it, you don't even realize that the Death Star is on that poster. Yeah. And I hope the poster isn't an indication of the show, which is bland and boring. We'll find out, I suppose. So, with that, let us know what you think of the trailer. Are you looking forward to it? What did you think of the first season? And what do you think of this poster? And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.